Well, good morning. It's Friday morning, and we are at the the back porch office this morning. We're reading from Acts 10:23b through 29. The next day, Peter rose and went away with them, and some of the brothers from Joppa accompanied him. And the following day, they entered Caesarea. Cornelius was expecting them and had called together his relatives and close friends. When Peter entered, Cornelius met him and fell down at his feet and worshipped him. But Peter lifted him up, saying, "Stand up, I too am a man." And as he talked with them, he went in and found many people gathered. And he said to them, "You yourselves know how unlawful it is for a Jew to associate with or visit anyone of another nation. But God has shown me that I should not call any person common or unclean. So when I was sent for, I came without objection. I asked then, 'Why you sent for me?'" That, of course, is the middle of the story, but that's where we'll leave it off today. I have a question for you. Have you ever met any famous people? I have driven in my personal automobile William Sloane Coffin, Graina Yates, who was the great-granddaughter of the famous poet, and Walter Brueggemann. That was a matter of him needing to escape a lecture hall and get back to his hotel, and I was the only one around with a car, and one of his good friends was riding with me anyway, and so all of a sudden I'm driving Walter Brueggemann around. Which doesn't make me special, doesn't make me somehow greater than you, doesn't make me anything except the guy who once drove Walter Brueggemann and once drove William Sloane Coffin from Wofford College to a professor's house, and once picked up Miss Yates at a hotel and drove her to the airport. So, none of that really matters in the big picture of things. But here's the thing. When Peter walks into Cornelius' house, Cornelius falls on the ground and grabs his feet and starts to worship him. And, of course, Peter says, No, don't do that. Don't worship me. I'm not the one worthy of worship. Jesus is, so stop. I imagine that a lot of our celebrities feel that way. Don't do that to me. I'm just a guy. Some of them probably suck it up and love it. And I know that some of the preachers around, at least television, love it. I'm not sure that our local preachers are like that. But there is this sense that we see somebody that everybody knows. Say you walk into Walmart one day, and for whatever reason, Paul McCartney is there. And he's looking for something, and you know where it is. Are you going to walk up and just say, "Hey, Paul, it's down there"? Or are you going to be like, blah, 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 blah? I don't know. I've seen Paul McCartney on some videos, and I think that, at least in these videos, he comes across as a fairly normal person who just happens to have written, the core songs of our generation. But this doesn't mean we should treat him like he's a god. Now, a lot of rock stars get there and think, I must be something special, and they're really not, but you know how it is. So there's this dynamic in human relationships where we see somebody who's famous, and we want to kind of reflect that glory, as it were. And so we treat them as though they're special and different, and they're really not that different from any of the rest of us, which is kind of the point of a lot of the celebrity behavior that we see and sometimes can't understand. Why would somebody who's famous just walk around Hollywood and in their shorts and go to Walmart like the rest of us? Well, because they're like the rest of us. They just happen to have done something public. I wish I could express it better than that, but that's kind of how I think Peter felt when Cornelius tried to worship him. Then Peter says, I'm a Jew and you're not a Jew, and I'm not supposed to even be here, but God has shown me some things in the last day or two, and he was still pondering this stuff when the guests arrived from Cornelius, and he's been thinking about it all day, and he's thinking, maybe God is trying to tell me that I shouldn't relate to you as someone lesser than me, but we should be equals. Maybe I shouldn't call you unclean. I think there's something to that. I don't think we are called to make these sorts of distinctions. I try not to. I don't know how often I've gotten away with it, but I do know that, over the years, all kinds of people have come to the church and wandered in, and some of them really needed a change of clothes, or some of them really needed a ride somewhere. Some of them needed this and that. And I've tried to give it to them and help them to the best that I am able. I don't always give them everything they want, and I don't always accommodate them in every way that they might wish, but I try to do what I can, and treat everyone kind of as a human being, and worthy of respect and their dignity. So there's something there. So think about that. Think about how you would react if you met, Paul McCartney or Taylor Swift or whoever it is in the grocery store, and they ask you a question. Would you stutter, or would you answer the question, and would you be able to answer the question? Well, it's Friday. Have fun today, and we will see you Saturday morning.